Hey guys, this is gamercal playing Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. Yesterday's thing was rather ridiculous, to be completely honest. I don't know how that really happened, but it did. So yeah, we're gonna go with Star Peach, of course. And today's Star Tournament is the Sand Star Classic. So this ought to be kind of interesting because, yeah, it's the sand place and stuff. I don't know, that doesn't make it that interesting, but what does is looking at that wind. Jesus Christ, that wind already is kind of ridiculous. Peach's shot is not affected nearly as much by the wind as Booster's, however, so, you know, it's kind of okay in that sense. You know, you don't have to adjust as much. It's sort of a false sense of security on high-speed side winds though, because you do kind of have to adjust a fair bit then. But, yeah. Looking at the way this green is set up though, you don't really want to be stuck down here, because that's just going to end up straight into a bit of a big pit of stuff. It's going to be a difficult shot to do if you land there. So I'm going to try and aim for this bit and super backspin this. Hopefully it's not going to stick, because if forward it should bounce quite far and then, yep, come straight back. That's exactly as I intended it to be, which is very good, and it's a nice simple birdie putt. Should be a nice simple birdie putt. You know, hopefully Karma's not going to screw it up. No, it's not. It's a nice easy first birdie, so yay! 28 best badges so far is better than I expected, to be completely honest. Oh god, that round was ridiculous, but still, less of yesterday, more of today. Today we are in, you know, this area over here. It's kind of an interesting hole, this, because you see how far over to the right we are now on these back tees. It's kind of funky, I suppose, to think of that. We do have a tailwind, which is pretty good. That's something I'm not necessarily used to having. So let us make the most out of that. I've super backspun it because I don't want it to bounce into the bunker. Or the water, you know, the water's more likely actually, and I was thinking, because I slightly overstruck it, if I didn't put the backspin on that, that would have likely gone, yeah, at least into the semi-rough, and I'd have rather stayed away from that. The one wood doesn't exactly give a whole lot more distance here, but it does give a little bit. So, because of Peach's control, I think I am just going to use the one wood here. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but, you know, it's enough, and we don't have to worry about the impact, because Peach's impact is still through the roof, even as a star character. So, yeah, that kind of got us a few yards further along, I suppose. And, of course, the shitty lie comes in now, but that is okay, because it is with a pitching wedge, and so it's very slightly better. Yeah, when you're using 8 iron or higher, you know, the second tier of club slots clubs, you have plus minus 5%. If you use the top tier, then it's still plus minus 5%, but if you're using the wedges tier, which is 9 iron and down, you actually have plus minus 4%, so you get a little bit more leeway with the lower clubs than you do with the higher ones. Like, the much lower. But because of that freaking horrible power loss there, we're just going to have to use the topspin. The topspin worked very, very well there, actually. That was a much better shot than I expected, but I undershot it by 2 bars and got minus 4%, so you see this kicked off the fringe. That's the reason the topspin worked as well as it did, because if it hit off the green, it would have bounced a good, you know, 10-15 feet more than that probably, and it would have been a very bad shot, but because it hit off the fringe, it was much better. If I didn't have the topspin, I'd have landed about 20 feet short, so yeah. Topspin makes a big difference. This, I'm hoping, should be a nice simple putt. Yeah, it's it was a bit steeper than I was hoping for, but it worked, so, you know, we're not complaining at that. And we are top of the table somehow after 2 holes. That's pretty impressive. As you can see though, of course the wind is still pretty severe. Most of the holes will have fairly severe wind, and we will be seeing sandstorms on a lot of them. So, you know, get used to that, I suppose. For this hole, because of Peach's distance, you kind of have to make it to here, If you don't make it to here, then you're going to have a ridiculously tough shot to reach the green. And even though the pin is at the front, I don't really want that sort of difficulty in a shot. So, of course, aim straight for where it is important, and Peach's shot is fairly easy to get right once you've played a little bit, I suppose. I maybe should have backspun that actually, but no, it looks okay. 272 yard, wow, that's impressive for her, I suppose. But yeah, the green here is fairly tame to reach. It's not that bad, but just make sure you are careful. I didn't actually notice the ±5% lie there. That was kind of dumb, but it looks like it's fine. Even with a -3%, it's not important because we still managed to make a decent shot out of it all. So this is a bit nastier than it should be though. Don't really like this putt, but it's not the worst ever because it's not that far. So it's still easy enough to reach. If it was maybe 4 feet more than that, it would have been more annoying, but it wasn't. So yeah, -3 over your first 3 holes, and Bowser is actually our playing partner. I've just noticed that. It's pretty good, to be honest, but he's only at even par because he's not with us anymore. And this hole, where is the pin? The pin is over there. Right, this hole is annoying when the pin is right over here, because as you can see on the back tees, since we are like 30-40 yards to the left or something, we kind of have to deal with Mr. Stonehenge over there, and that is a big pain in the ass. Because, you know, it's actually kind of hard to get around that, so I'm going to spin to the side as well, just to make sure that I stay well away from that thing, and we're going to go with the backspin, hopefully on this, if I actually hit the shot right. I'm just trying to work out exactly how I'm going to line this up. And there we go, right, should be okay with that. That was terrible, however. Yeah, not any excuses for that, so we're going to have to chip on the bunker, but that's fine. It's, to be honest, it wasn't the easiest of shots to try and pull off anyway, so I don't care that much. And well, we can still get almost a chip in anyway, so whatever. Peach is not Bowser, so obviously Bowser gets all the chip ins and Peach gets none, pretty much. So Peach is like not the master of chip ins like Bowser, so don't expect as many as we had yesterday's stuff. And hey, there's actually not a sandstorm going this time. That is pretty impressive. I don't really know where else to hit with Peach other than here. I mean, if you're playing a bit safer, you could probably just go here. It's a nice wide target, but trying to get a little bit closer to the green, I guess, especially, yeah, considering this is still going to be like a 200-yard approach, and I don't really fancy doing that with Peach. That's a free wood probably for that, so best just to completely screw up the control and hit over here. Fantastic, Cal, that was exactly as intended. Well, it still ended up exactly where I wanted, so whatever, right? Why am I getting all the ±5% lies with Peach here? I didn't get any of them with Boozer, seriously. Yes, that is his name for this LP, so what? But yeah, I didn't get any negative lies that way with Bowser. Why on earth am I getting them all with Peach here? Is it just because we're in the desert and they're just like, yeah, you're in the desert now, we're gonna give you lots of rocky fairway because why the hell not? I don't know, but it sucks either way, and that was deliberately underpowered because -1.6 foot downhill, it kind of drags it down without me having to do much. But yeah, losing 2 power shots already though is not good because Peach really needs them. And that is going to be very evident as we go along, because of course we all know Peach's drive is lacking. That is the major thing which is wrong with her compared to most other decent characters. So her control might be excellent, but her power is completely terrible, and she really needs to keep her power shots. Also, a super backspin saved the day a little bit there, because even though I'm still on the fringe, I have barely any fringe to actually putt off of. Which means this shouldn't be a difficult putt power-wise, and indeed it goes straight in, so yeah, excellent stuff. We're still 5 for 6, which is a fantastic thing to have, really, you know. 6 holes, 5 under par, and this sort of thing. Oh, jeez, this so... well, it's only that way. Unfortunately, Peach cannot hit this, because she just lacks complete total power for that, so you have to play a little bit safer, and you basically got to go over the long way round. So, yeah, it's tough to reach this green in regulation. Very tough. And I'm getting dangerously close to losing lots of more power shots here. This is not a good situation for power shotting. Because yeah, I really need to try and keep hold of them a lot more than I am. And where can I even go here? I suppose with a power shot I can maybe hit this, but it's... well, how close would that go? That, well, considering where the pin is as well, that's probably a good approaching area. If I hit it from here, then well, it'd be just about the same, it'd just be a bit longer. But either way round, if I can reach here, this would probably be a good bet. So let's try and do that. Okay, that should be enough. Don't hit the bunker, don't hit the bunker. No, that's going straight over the bunker, that is good. The top spin will just send it into a better place on the fairway, and yeah, just under 100 yards away. Good stuff. So, looking where the hill is and looking where the wind is, I'm going to aim quite far over. Despite Peach not being affected too much by the wind, this does need to be moved over because the hill will bounce it in the same direction as the wind is going. And it ended up fairly well, to be completely honest. Rolled straight down a little bit of hill, and yeah, it's a nice putt to make. I don't think that should be an issue because there wasn't much of a break on that, so yeah. Hitting the right spots on the green obviously really helps to make the putts easier. Making the putts easier will give you more of them in, which is what we're seeing really. We're seeing lots of putts going in because they're not that difficult to make. They're not that difficult to make, as I said, because I'm hitting the right spots. Pretty much, that's what I'm trying to aim for here. And this wind is pretty atrocious, to be honest. I think I might want to move this a bit further over. So yeah, and I'm also going to backspin this because I don't want it bouncing all the way down that hill. I don't think it ever would, but I just didn't want to take the chance, and really, there's not much of an issue with doing that, so who cares? This green, on the other hand, well, I've got to approach it over the bunker, but that doesn't make too much of an impact because Peach is really not that bad at that. How am I still hitting uphill here? I'm trying to work this out at the moment. How is that still uphill? That just doesn't quite make sense to me, but whatever. If I'm hitting uphill, then I need to probably not backspin this because I think it's going to bounce kind of nicely off that hill. Nope, I still needed to backspin. The backspin wouldn't have made the difference, it was hit too hard. Dang it, tailwind. Sometimes tailwinds are not always the best of things to have around, you know? So, yeah, apparently we are getting a decent shot off here, and Peach does get a chip in after all. It's these surfaces, man. This tournament green surface is so much easier to do chip-ins off of, it's ridiculous. Although it's more difficult to judge hills, but it's so much easier to roll the ball into the cup. It's just, yeah. Yeah, I know that sounded so wrong. It's golf. There's got to be some sort of innuendo thing in there somewhere. I don't really care. I'm just gonna hit over here because, again, I don't really care. It's not a sandstorm, which is nice. We're in the right shiny desert. Probably should have backspun that, but I wasn't thinking, so we're gonna have to hit this off the waist area. That's not so good. Well, shit. Plus minus 15%. This could go very, very badly, very easily, so I'm not expecting a whole lot off of this, but I don't really have much of a choice otherwise, so what the hell. Actually, well, the power is okay, the 7% negative is not quite so okay. You know, couldn't really see that in time because I had to concentrate on actually hitting the accuracy right, so yeah, there was no really saving that one. That's just kinda how it goes. Not gonna backspin this because I don't think it really needed it, and I didn't really expect it to need topspin, so that's fine. It's just gonna be a straightforward par putt. Shouldn't miss that, because seriously, there's not much of a break on that, so considering, you know, some of the shots that we've made otherwise, missing that would be pretty embarrassing. Never mind though, we are 7 and 9 on the front half of the course, which is always good, and we have one of the longer par 4s with a humongous freaking headwind. That doesn't help in the slightest, especially when Peach's target area ideally would be up here, but the headwind is probably going to stop me reaching that, and yeah, there's not much scope for that, so I'm going to have to hit in this sort of area. Which means Captain Pillarface over there is going to actually get in the way, and that's not something I would desire, and I've lost another power shot. That's... well, I've still got 3, so it's not the end of the world. But I might... no, I won't need one for this next shot. It's less than 200 yards, so that's fine. And the pillar is actually not in the way. What is in the way, however, is the freaking hill. I mean, look at where this pin is. This is really not straightforward at all to try and hit, and I mean, you want to probably aim up here, but it's horrible. I think the wind is probably going to carry it a good deal across, so I'm going to actually aim pretty much for the pin and hope that the wind takes it as much as I expect. I'm going to backspin anyway. Whoa, it took it a lot more than I expected. Jeez, look at that! Yeah, that was a lot more than I thought it was going to happen, but never mind. Ugh, this hill! Jesus Christ. I am not approving of this hill. This hill should not be a state-mandated thing, I don't know. And don't tell me I'm actually going to get another one. Oh, you are kidding me! How the hell? What? That doesn't happen. Peach, since when did you take lessons from Bowser on how to do chips? This is not how it's supposed to go, seriously, but whatever, we are -8, that is pretty damn awesome. Wow, I really don't know what to say. This is not how my games normally go, I suppose. Normally if I'm not on the green in regulation, you don't get that many birdies, so whatever. But yeah, shit happens. Peach is not exactly doing badly, that's for sure. I'm not really likely to get eagles with Peach though, and why are you giving me all of these horrible lies? Look at this, this is just dire. Absolutely dire. I'm expecting this to take quite a hit off the window because it is sort of ballooning slightly, so I'm going to hope that that is actually the case, and I maybe should have super backspun that because of the +4%, because I don't think that's... no, it wouldn't have made a difference because it just kicked up too much. But whatever, you know, that's just how things go. Sometimes the RNG does decide to completely screw you up, and this was one of those times. So yeah. We still managed to make a good approach though. Within 2 feet is always nice because it's just a very straightforward pop-up from there. Cannot complain at that whatsoever. You know, 8 and 11 is still a pretty... no, it's a pretty good score. Yes, very good English cow. It's a pretty good score. And that is all she wrote on that one. Now here, again, we are like 30 yards over to the left or so here. This is not really a problem, even though it maybe should be. It's a little bit more of an issue for Peach than I would like, but it's still not that terrible. However, you do want to sort of aim into this area here, and because of that side wind, that's not a very easy target, so I'm actually just going to bite the distance bullet here. It's a massive distance drop actually, but I'm going to try and play safer and aim into this bit over here. Because really that is where I want to be to get a straight approach to the green. And that is the only real way I can do it. I'd have to be very close to the rock otherwise, and I don't fancy that. I think this is the safest shot to do, because as you see, I'm much straighter towards the green now, and that is good. This bunker would normally be a bit of an issue for approaching the green, but because of the way the hill is, and because of where the pin is, I'm actually just going to... yeah, there's the hill, the wind, and the pin are all in the right position for me just to aim around about here. It's all uphill, so I'm not going to put any backspin on that. I think it should be fine. Apparently not, because the camera angle is saying it isn't. God dang it, why did that not work as intended? I do not know. Yeah, if I knew, then it would have worked as intended, because I'd have changed what happened. And that didn't chip in. I'm not quite sure exactly how the wind affects stuff that way, because it must do, because that was sort of aimed, you know, as if there wasn't any wind there, and it must have affected it somehow, because there wasn't a break on the hill. But I don't know how, so that's kind of lame. More strong wind. This is a very windy desert apparently, and I don't approve of that in the slightest because it's making my golfing harder, but you know, it's not the end of the world. It is still easy enough to get a reasonable score, and that was absolutely terrible because it's still on the bloody fairway. Oh jeez, putting from the fairway is not something I really want to do. Why is it increasing my distance? I'm not holding the button down. Give me a sec here. Okay, right, I don't understand why I did that, but apparently my analog left and right was screwing up a bit there, so oh well. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how much I want to chip this, but at the same time the putt looks pretty terrible. So, well, we're gonna have to settle for par on this, I think, because I don't think there's any way I'm gonna get this in. This is a pretty ridiculous putt, to be honest, looking at it, and it's... no. I've got to go over a little bit of fairway, I've got to go over the entire fringe, and I've got to go up this massive hill. Let's just hit that and see where it goes. Not that bad, actually. Don't roll all the way down the hill, you jerk. God dang it. That's the disadvantage with this surface, obviously, is that everything rolls all the way down the hill again, and it's a big pain in the ass, but, you know, it's still worked out, so we're fine. But yeah, that was not a terrible attempt from there, to be honest. We're still 5 strokes ahead. How on earth does that work? Anywho, once again, we're like, well, we're more like 50 yards over this time. This is one of those holes that's actually weirder on back tees than it is on front tees. If you're using PT, it is possible to actually reach the green in one shot from here. You know, PT has such a mammoth distance that it's possible, with his height, from the back tees only, to reach this green in one shot. From the front tees, you can see you're kind of embezzled there, you can't really get the height. But, I mean, even Peach, you can see Peach can actually hit over, but she doesn't have nearly enough distance to climb over all of this rock. And, yeah. The problem really here is that Peach also doesn't have enough distance to accurately reach an area that I could get across with. You know, I can't use the shortcut bit, so Peach really has very little going for her on this hole, and I'm gonna have to go the long way around, and I'm gonna have to hope I can get there in 3 shots. I'm pretty sure I can if I play them well, and that is not a good start towards playing them well, Cal, but I think it's okay, because it's got just about enough power. Get up! Thank you. So the top spin takes it into a reasonable area, and yeah, I'm not far enough over that I would be able to get across. If I was here, then I might have just been able to side spin and get over, but as you can see, there's no way of getting across. As much as I would love to try, there is no way of getting across here. That's not worth the risk. I mean, you could hit that, but seriously now, come on, be reasonable. Be freaking reasonable. That is not the sort of shot which you would want to make. Unless you're being a risky, stupid person. But I'm not sure I want to take that sort of risk. What this means is that I'm going to have to hit over here, and I can get there in 3 shots, that's quite obvious, but yeah, it's not going to be the easiest of things, because you see, if I miss this at all, see, this is why it's not worth the risk. If I was even 1 power short, I would get clipped. There is absolutely no point in taking that sort of risk, so I'm not going to bother, and I'm just going to hit into a nice, safe-ish area which, if you can just about see in the top corner over there, I will be able to hit the green on the next shot, so that's good. And yeah, I might be sort of crazy in some of the stuff I do, but I'm not stupid, and I'm not going to hit shots which are obviously going to completely fail. You know, there's like a frame perfect thing of it may be working if the game feels like giving it to you, you know? That's just dumb, so we're not going to bother with that. I don't know why I've super backspun this. I know I've overhit it, but I think super might be excessive, maybe? Then again, Peach's spin is rather weak, so super backspin isn't as bad. And yeah, this doesn't look like a terrible putt. It should be more than makeable if we get it right as we did. So yeah, worked out pretty well, I think. And seems like Peach agrees with that. So 9 under in 14 holes, and we are 6 strokes ahead of Wiggler and 7 of Bowser. That is pretty good. Pretty damn good. So let's just keep this going, hopefully, and well, this hole is quite nice because you don't really have to drive distance to go to the longer way around anyway, so nice tame hole. We just go with the quote-unquote shortcut through the middle of the sand dune over here, and it's not really a sand dune, it's a tower of rock. It's not even a tower of rock really, it's just a little spire, but you know. The pin is in a very nice position actually, because it could have been all the way over here and that would have been a lot harder to hit, but the only problem is once again the game has decided to give me the ±5% lie, which is a bit of a big issue. But I think it's going to go straight into the bunker. Nope, not quite, it's a little bit harder than that, so that's fine, but the fringe, I've got quite a lot of fringe to hit from as well, so I'm going to have to hit the next power level up, which is pretty sucky but not the end of the world. And I'm just going to hope that this goes somewhere good, because that would be very nice. And it turns out it does! What? How about that? Well then, not much you can say negatively about that. That was just well aimed and well powered apparently. I seem to be pretty good at hitting mid-range putters off of the fringe. I'm not very good at hitting mid-range putters off of the actual green itself, but I seem to be pretty good at it off the fringe, so I'm not really complaining. Oh, this hole though is a little bit long, and it's not sandstormy, which is nice. There's been a couple of non-sandstorm holes now, which I am always approving of, and yeah, I'm basically hitting backspin off of this just so I don't bounce too far, because you never know, you might bounce too far if you don't, and that's fine. 177 yard with a perfect lie. Look at this though. That you can definitely tell that we're in Star Tournament thing of the third one now, because this is starting to get pretty crazy in terms of hill placement. Not just placement, but the actual severity of the hill is ridiculous as well. This is starting to get pretty hard to actually find a safe spot. I mean, the larger target of the green was probably the better place to aim for, but if I hit there, how was I going to get up for the putt? So I'll probably still 2-putt anyway. And then this sort of ridiculous looking chip is going to stick, and that'll do. It's a fairly straightforward par putt from there. It's been pretty routine by now. You see that I managed to set them up. I almost overestimated that actually, but yeah, it was still fairly routine and not much else to say about it. It's just there. It's a putt that happened, and apparently 4 meters per second wind is sandstorm level. I think there must be something between 4 and 5. You know how because it's meters per second and not miles per hour, I'm pretty sure within meters per second there is like 2 sort of levels for it. Maybe, I don't know, 8 and 9, or between 8 and 10 or something, and maybe 10 miles per hour is the sandstorm level, and 9 and 8 are not. Because sometimes it's a sandstorm when there's 4 meters per second and sometimes it's not. So I really don't quite know how that works. And that was a very, very good shot actually. I wasn't quite sure how that was going to go, but that went much better than expected. So fantastic, Peach. You know, you're doing all right. I mean, come on, 38 best badges in total out of the 3 tournaments so far is pretty good. We're 7 strokes ahead of Bowser. That would mean I would have to get, I don't know, something like +4 before he would even remotely be able to tie with an Albatross. And he'll probably get a birdie, but that means I have, like, I don't know, I could get to +6 or something and still be okay. And this is a par 5, so yeah, I don't really see that being a problem. Sometimes the Star Tournaments just go like that. I mean, I've been playing consistently well this entire tournament and they haven't really matched. But sometimes they do very, very, very well, so it's a bit hit and miss in the end. 264 with a tailwind and a perfect light. This is totally makeable. Look at that freaking sand column there. That is ridiculous. But yeah, if I had a better placement, this would be totally doable. But I can't accurately reach because of the sand right here. Like, seriously, Peach just doesn't quite have enough distance to make this, and that is sort of depressing, to be honest, because I would have liked to have made an eagle here, but not to be. So long as I don't hit any harder than this, I can hit that shot, but it's annoying. I don't really know how best to try and tackle this. I want to get to here, but I don't know how really to go ahead and do that. I guess I'm just gonna hit slightly higher, hit just a little bit into the trajectory here, and hope that I don't screw the shot up whilst I do that. That should still be okay. Yep, that's going to be fine. I probably didn't need to sit the top spin, that's exaggerated. Yep, into the bunker. I did not mean for that to happen, but never mind, it's not that important. I can still hit the green in regulation. That is what is truly important over here, after all, is making sure we get to the greens in regulation. That was a terrible, terrible shot, but you know, it worked because of the way that stuff happens. And we're going to end with a birdie, 12 under, that's pretty damn good, I'm gonna have to say. 12 under with Peach on this tournament, not bad. I wasn't really expecting this one to be much of an issue because Peach is very, very stable. And this sort of course is not terrible for Peach because Peach does have enough of a drive that it works. It's not quite as bad as, you know, like the Bowser Badlands or even her own Castle Grounds is barely long for her, but this one's perfectly fine. So, winning by 7 strokes, always a good thing.
Very well done.
Getting the tournament greens for that course, always a good thing, and yeah, it looks like we have somehow managed to procure a victory out of, yeah, good playing all round, I guess. Very consistent so far. I've been very happy with that. I've definitely done well so far. I still don't understand what the hell she's trying to say there, but oh well. So yeah, that was a thing known as Sandstar Classic, I suppose. This has been gamercal playing Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, and join us next time when the Star Tournament goes to that course. Yes, Yoshi is going to be taking on the Blooper Star Open, and well, it's gonna be a thing. This is one of the tournaments which I am concerned that is actually going to fail, and if it does fail, then I don't know who the hell I'm gonna do this one with, but hopefully it won't, and we'll just have a nice, peaceful round on the worst course ever, and all will be well. Maybe. I don't know. See you guys for that next time.